Pregnant teenager froze when biker asked her name, what 220 Hell's Angels did next. The biker only asked her name, not loud, not angry, just calm. The pregnant girl froze because names had always made things worse, and because she didn't know that one question would stop her from running and summon 220 men who refused to let her be hurt again. The bus never came. That was the first thing Maya Collins noticed when she checked the cracked digital clock above the empty platform. 11:58 p.m. The road hummed softly, headlights passing without stopping. Cold air slipped through the thin fabric of her hoodie and settled into her bones. She was 17 years old, 7 months pregnant, and standing alone outside a rundown bus stop on the edge of a highway that didn't care who disappeared on it. Maya shifted her weight carefully, one hand resting on her belly. The baby moved. A slow, steady reminder that she wasn't allowed to give up, even though every part of her wanted to sit down and let the night swallow her. She hadn't planned to stop here, but she was out of money, out of strength, out of places where people pretended to help. Her duffel bag sat at her feet. Everything she owned fit inside it. Clothes, a folded ultrasound photo, a notebook filled with half-written letters she never sent. Then she heard it. A low rumble, deep, growing, motorcycles. Maya's heart slammed into her ribs. She took a step back, instinctively searching for somewhere to hide. The sound grew louder until headlights cut through the dark, 1, then 5, then too many to count. They rolled in slowly, deliberately, leather vests, heavy boots, patches that carried stories she didn't understand but knew enough to fear. Hell's Angels! Her breath caught. One man stepped forward. Tall, broad, gray beard pulled tight at the jaw. He removed his helmet and rested it on his bike before approaching, not rushing, not looming. "Hey," he said gently. "You all right?" Maya didn't answer. He noticed her shaking hands, her belly, the fear she couldn't hide. He took another step, then stopped. "What's your name?" he asked. And just like that, Maya froze, because names were how people found you, and because the last man who knew her name almost destroyed her. Maya stared at the biker's boots instead of his face. They were worn, scuffed, not polished like the shoes of men who pretended to be kind. "I don't tell people my name," she whispered. The biker nodded once, like she'd said something reasonable. "That's fair," he replied. "Then I won't push." Behind him, more bikes arrived. Engines cut. Voices stayed low. No shouting, no laughter, just awareness. Maya wrapped her arms tighter around herself. "My name's Jack Asterisk," the man added. "Only telling you, so this doesn't feel like an interrogation." She didn't respond, but something in her shoulders loosened. Jack kept his distance. He spoke like someone who understood silence. "You traveling?" he asked. She shook her head, then nodded, confused by her own answer. "I was," she said. "I don't know anymore." Jack glanced at the empty road. "Cold night," he said. "You can sit if you want." He pointed to a bench near the bus stop, not closer to him, not farther, just an option. Maya hesitated, then slowly lowered herself onto it. The baby kicked again, harder this time. Jack noticed. "You okay?" She nodded. Tears burned her eyes. "I didn't think anyone would stop," she said quietly. Jack smiled, small, sad. "Sometimes people stop," he said. "They just don't look like help." One of the bikers, a woman, approached and placed a bottle of water beside Maya without a word. No one stared. Jack crouched slightly so he wasn't towering over her. "Someone looking for you?" he asked. Maya's jaw tightened. Her eyes flicked toward the darkness behind the station. "Yes," she whispered. Jack's expression didn't change, but something in the air did. "Then," he said calmly, "you won't be alone tonight." If anyone had driven past, they would have assumed danger had arrived. 20 bikers, leather, tattoos, heavy presence. But Maya noticed the details no one else would. How one man stood at the road watching traffic. How another stayed near her bag without touching it. How no one raised their voice. Jack explained nothing about the patches. He didn't need to. "What do people think of you?" Maya asked suddenly. Jack chuckled softly. "Depends who you ask." She swallowed. "They think you're bad." Jack nodded. "Yeah." A long pause. "And what are you really?" she asked. Jack looked at her belly, then at her face. "Right now," he said, "I'm someone who doesn't like seeing kids scared." Her chest tightened. "My stepfather is a cop," Maya said, the words spilling out before she could stop them. "He said no one would believe me." Silence fell, not shocked, not loud, heavy. Jack exhaled slowly. "And he hurt you?" She nodded. "And you ran?" "Yes." Jack stood and turned to the others. A few nods passed between them. No shouting, no debate. Jack faced her again. "You know why people fear us," he said. Maya shook her head. "Because we don't look away." Jack pulled out his phone. "Mind if I make a call?" he asked. Maya hesitated, then nodded. He walked a few steps away, made one call, then another. His voice stayed calm, serious. When he returned, his eyes held certainty. "How many of you are there?" Maya asked. Jack glanced around. "Right now," he said, "about 40. Her eyes widened. "And later?" Jack met her gaze. "By morning," he said, "around 200. Her breath caught. "For me," she whispered. Jack knelt so they were eye level. "For the truth," he corrected, "and for your baby." Headlights slowed on the highway. Jack's posture shifted instantly. "Alert, ready, you're safe," he said quietly. "But tonight gets loud." Maya nodded, terrified and relieved all at once. The night stretched on. Someone brought food. Someone found a blanket. The woman biker sat beside Maya, talking softly about childbirth, about leaving, about surviving. For the first time in months, Maya didn't plan an escape. By dawn, motorcycles lined the road like sentinels. Maya watched the sun rise and realized something important. She wasn't invisible anymore. And for the first time since she ran, the road no longer felt endless. "I'm locked in and ready." Morning didn't arrive softly. It crept in slow and watchful, like it already knew what was coming. The sky was just beginning to pale when Maya heard it, a distant sound cutting through the low hum of idling engines. Sirens. Her body reacted before her mind did. Her hand flew to her belly. Her breath shortened. Every muscle locked. Jack noticed instantly. "Hey," he said calmly, stepping closer but not touching her. "Look at me." She tried. Her eyes filled instead. "They found me," she whispered. "He told them I'm unstable, that I ran away, that I'm dangerous." The sirens grew louder. Around them the bikers shifted, not aggressively, purposefully. A few stepped toward the road. Others positioned themselves closer to Maya, not blocking her, but making it clear she wasn't alone. 2 patrol cars pulled into the lot. The officers stepped out slow, hands resting near their belts. They scanned the bikes, the patches, the crowd. Their confidence faltered just slightly. One of them spoke. "We're here for the minor." Maya flinched. Jack didn't raise his voice. "She's safe," he said, "and she's not leaving without legal counsel." "She's underage," the officer replied. "Her guardian reported her missing." Jack tilted his head. "Her guardian is the reason she ran." Silence. The second officer shifted uncomfortably. "You're interfering," the first said. Jack shook his head. "We're witnessing." Phones were already out, recording, watching. The officers exchanged looks. "We'll be back," one said, "with paperwork." Jack nodded. "We'll still be here." As the patrol cars pulled away, Maya's knees buckled. She sank onto the bench, shaking. Jack crouched beside her. "That was the scare," he said gently, "not the storm." By late morning, the quiet road wasn't quiet anymore. Motorcycles lined the shoulder as far as Maya could see. Riders arrived in small groups, nodding, parking, waiting. No shouting, no chaos, just presence. People slowed their cars. Some stopped. News vans arrived. Cameras turned. Maya stayed near the station window, watching disbelief turn into something else. "Why are they coming?" she asked. Jack stood beside her. "Because truth spreads faster than lies when enough people carry it." A woman in a blazer arrived, a lawyer. She introduced herself softly, sat with Maya, listened, really listened. Maya told her story again. Each word hurt less than the last. Inside, the baby kicked steady, alive. Outside, an internal affairs vehicle pulled in, then another patrol car. This time, the officers didn't step out right away. Jack remained still, unmoved. "You okay?" he asked Maya. She nodded. "I'm scared," she said, "but not like before." He smiled slightly. "That's courage finding its footing." He arrived in uniform, her stepfather, clean, composed, certain. Maya's heart dropped. Jack stepped in front of her without hesitation. "You don't come closer," Jack said. The man sneered. "You don't intimidate me." Jack leaned in just enough. "You should be intimidated by daylight." Cameras caught everything. The man tried to speak with authority, to command, to dismiss. But authority needs silence, and there was none. An internal affairs officer stepped forward. "Sir," he said, "we need to talk." Handcuffs clicked. Maya didn't scream, didn't cheer, she cried, not because she was weak, but because the weight had finally lifted. That night Maya slept in a real bed, clean sheets, locked door, quiet walls. Her hand rested on her belly as the baby kicked again, stronger this time. Jack stood at the doorway. "You're safe," he said. "Tomorrow too." She nodded. "Thank you for stopping," she said. Jack smiled softly. "You stopped first. We just stood with you." The bikes left at sunrise. One by one, respectful, silent. The road emptied again, but Maya didn't feel alone. He lay where the doors locked and no one shouted. The first night she slept with the light on. The second night she slept through until morning. People came and went, a social worker, a nurse, the lawyer again. They spoke softly, carefully, like they were afraid she might break if they moved too fast. Maya mostly listened. Her stepfather was suspended, then arrested, then charged. Each update felt heavy, not victorious. Justice didn't feel loud. It felt slow and strange and exhausting. Jack checked in every day. Sometimes he brought food. Sometimes he brought nothing at all and just sat across from her, hands folded, letting silence do its work. "You don't owe us anything," he told her once. Maya looked up. "I know, but you still show up," she said. Jack nodded. "That's how you rebuild trust, brick by brick." She watched the men and women who had protected her fade back into their own lives. They didn't linger, didn't expect praise. They had done what they came to do. One afternoon, Maya stood outside the house, sunlight warming her face. Her hand rested on her belly as the baby shifted. "I'm scared again," she admitted to Jack. He didn't correct her. "Fear doesn't mean you're losing," he said. "It means you care about what comes next." She nodded slowly. For the first time, the future didn't feel like a dark road. It felt like something unfinished, waiting for her to arrive. Labor came early on a quiet morning. There was no panic, just urgency. Nurses moved fast. Doctors spoke calmly. Maya focused on breathing, on staying present, on not drifting back into old fear. Hours blurred together. Pain came in waves, strong, demanding, real. And then a cry, sharp, alive, powerful. Maya sobbed as they placed her daughter on her chest. Tiny fingers curled instinctively against her skin. Warmth spread through her like something healing. "She's perfect," the nurse said. Maya nodded through tears. They named her Hope ****. Jack came later that day. He stood near the door, suddenly unsure of himself. Maya smiled. "Come meet her," she said. He stepped closer, eyes softening as he looked down at the baby. "She looks strong," he said. Maya smiled. "She is." Jack didn't stay long. He never overstayed. Before leaving, he reached into his vest and placed something gently on the table, a small silver charm shaped like wings. "For her," he said, "so she knows people showed up." Maya watched him go. Hope slept against her chest, steady and safe. And for the first time in her life, Maya understood something deeply. Survival was only the beginning. Love was what came next. The courtroom was quiet. Maya stood when asked, sat when told, spoke when it was time. Her voice didn't shake. She told the truth slowly, clearly, without apology. Her stepfather didn't look at her. Evidence spoke louder than he ever had. When the verdict came, Maya didn't react right away. It wasn't relief. It wasn't joy. It was closure. Outside the courthouse, sunlight hit her face again. Jack stood across the steps, nodding once. "You did it," he said. She shook her head gently. "We did," she corrected. He smiled. Months passed. Maya learned how to be a mother, learned how to rest, learned how to trust again. Sometimes Jack visited. Sometimes he just sent a text. Hope grew fast. One afternoon, Maya watched motorcycles pass on the highway. The sound no longer scared her. It reminded her. Family, she realized, wasn't about blood. It was about who stands when you can't. Years later, Maya would tell Hope the story, not with anger, not with fear, but with gratitude, about the night she stopped running, about the men and women who refused to look away, about how one question changed everything, and every time she told it, she ended the same way. "Sometimes angels don't have wings," she'd say. "Sometimes they ride in the dark, so you don't have to." If this story moved you, don't keep it to yourself. Subscribe for stories that remind us